Hey, it's your girl, Jersey Shey. Well, today I am coming to my entrepreneurs and I'm coming to you from a place of straight burnout. I think we need to have the conversation because it happens and sometimes it happens often. And I think it happens even more with us creatives who, our brain is like, listen, let's birth this, let's birth that. This is awesome. What about that? That'd be great. And then you are taking on the worry, the concern, the I should fix it of because you are acts of service. That's your love language. And God forbid you are an empath and all of this in the world is going on right now and your heart is hurting. You might feel some type of way right now. So if that is the case, I'm just trying to figure out or help out or talk about how you feeling and what you're doing about it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. You have to know how you're wired and you got to know what works for you when it comes to moving you from point A to point B. Because some people will say, hey, get over it. Oh, it'll be a good day. You'll have a better day tomorrow. But what things do you do to have a better day? Or what things do you do to change your stinking thinking or to get out of a mood? Or, what do because this is the thing. I have learned, and this has come not from my own deciding, but because of my ecosystem and things happening. And over time, I ended up with a car that had no radio, right? And in the mix of that versus me turning on my iHeartRadio and different things I had in my phone, I chose to drive in silence, which taught me and allowed me a lot of time to practice mindful thinking and to stay tapped into what I think about, why I think about these things, how I react to things, just, my chain of thought, and the things that I have that are habits and how I respond. So in that, I've developed this whole different relationship with myself because I can now, I'm very mindful of things and the things that I want to change, how I feel about certain things and what I can do to move past. Because one of the things about it, life is going to happen, right? And you can't always, navigate how you feel in the muddy waters of life. But one thing I've learned is I can navigate how I respond to those muddy waters of life, right? If I see the glass as half full, if I see it as a learning lesson, if I see it as a karma, depending on my perspective on it is how that will grow, right? How, depending on how I water that flower, how that seed is the dependent whether that seed will become weeds or whether that seed will become a harvest of fruit for me to eat later in life, right? So I've learned a lot being mindful and how to navigate my feelings and navigate when I'm in a space of, this ain't good. And one thing I had to learn was to not tell people, unfortunately. Like sometimes you can share, and sometimes you may see, okay, when I feel like a little mucky, I might say I need a hug. And I may not say why, and I may not go into the details of what's going on. But for me, there's some strategy in that, whether it's the love that I need to see behind that, the people who I need to see that's showing up. And I thought ain't no one was showing up for me at the time, whatever my need was at the time. For why I did that was why, I put that out there. I am very, pinpointed on me because one thing about it is I don't stay in a space for long. So I don't really like to say, hey, John Blue or Jackie Brown or whoever my, peers are. I feel mucky. because then next Tuesday, you'll say, well, hey, Shey, are you feeling mucky? Well, child, listen, as far as I'm concerned, that was last Tuesday between 1:15 and 1:45. I'm over that because I'm either going to, when you bury me, I'm either going to sprout into something new, because I'm not going to stay there. I just don't do well in that space. And because I've adapted mechanisms to say, hey, and put things in my ecosystem that says, hey, we got things to do. You don't even have time to be there. But one of the things that I like to do for myself is to ask myself, even do I have a right to feel like I feel? Because you can feel that way, but do you have a right to stay that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say, oh God, woe is me, life is happening, but I mean, is it really happening? Or is this just a bad day? Is it really that bad, or can you do a little bit more? And, and things could change for you. So I'm always looking at, some of a different perspective. So it helps to gain a different perspective, as well as know how you wired. So what I want to say is just adapt a couple of mechanisms. Kind of see what triggers you, what makes you feel better, and look at those things instead of getting mad when you keep accepting those things. Because if they already are not good for you, then remove them. You know what I'm saying? If you say, you know what, I shouldn't have told that person that because I'm tired of hearing it, then going forward, remind yourself not to tell people that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of getting frustrated at yourself because they're giving you what they know how to give you and not the answers that you want them to come at you with. So because you can't control that side, you can control this side. And what you can do is be strategic about the things that you do control within the spaces that you can control. So if that made sense to anybody, please drop a thumbs up, because I'm just trying to make sense to this, figure this out like you trying to figure this out. But I just want to make sure that sometimes you step back. So like me, I created boundaries for myself. I created a self-care Tuesday, where you can't talk business to me. You can't come in my space, and we don't do internet and social media. I don't do any of that. I truly disconnect, and it's for me, and I'm very strong about that. And that was me teaching my people and my peers and people who love me, this is what I need to be able to show up in excellence for you and for me. So you may have to, one, create boundaries for yourself in order to be able to relieve some of that burnout, right? You might need to also create some type of a time management for yourself and create windows of time to do things, because you're just trying to add things on your plate, and then sometimes in some way and in some shape get it done by a certain period of time. And maybe that's not a good place in how you're wired. Maybe you just need to piece them in increments, whether you say I'm going to work 8 hours a day, but I'm going to do them in 2-hour increments, or I'm going to do an 8-hour schedule, or I'm going to do a 10 to 2, whether you work better with time frames, or you're just a busy person and you have to just fit them in 2-hour increments, as long as it's a full 8 hours at the end of the day, whatever works for you. But you need to allot and work on your time management. And then as far as, and then you got to prioritize. Because sometimes we're working on the wrong stuff, and then we're wondering why other things are not falling out the sky because we're not working on the right stuff. So I want you to prioritize, work on your time management, and work on creating boundaries for yourself. And I think that will work with helping to relieve some of the days when you're feeling a little icky, and burnt out. Because if you're in the entrepreneur space and that's why you're feeling burnt out, we got to have some strategy around it, because it's not going to change. The more you become into that leadership space and the more you add to yourself, the more burnout you will feel. So just take heed to those 3 strategies, what you're going to prioritize, because we got to be strategic about the things that we're working on. We have to make sure that we allot time management into our day, right? And we got to have boundaries around our personal life and our professional life. And I guarantee you that'll relieve some stress. Not to say that you're not going to ever feel burnout, but you won't stay burned out. And that's the name of the game, right? So let's work together with this. Listen, synergy. You know, we gotta get this done, and we gotta get it done, and feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to regret being here. So it's your girl Jersey Shey. If that helped, give me a thumbs up, share this video, like and follow me on social media, and I'll talk to you soon. Continue winning.